Hey guys, Tommy Bryson here, and how do you leave a job that you don't like when you know you don't like it, when you know you hate it, but you don't want to walk away from it because basically you need the money, right? And that's the thing with money, and that's the thing with a job. You need money and you need the job to make money, because if you don't got the money, you can't pay the bills. And I know, in the movies, it always looks so cool when the person walks in and they're like, I quit, I'm done here. And then 6 months later, all of a sudden they're a millionaire and they tell their boss, well, now you're fired. But in real life, it doesn't happen like that at all. A lot of people, I've seen this all the time, they quit their jobs with no savings, with no money, and all of a sudden they're back living with their parents. People quit their jobs and they have a very hard time finding another job. And by the way, I know what it's like to work a job you absolutely hate, like to the point so much that whenever I woke up in the morning, it literally took me like 10 to 15 minutes to put on one sock and then the other sock, because I just did not want to get on that bus and commute for an hour and 2 hours to get somewhere where I absolutely knew I don't like this place. I don't feel like the work I'm actually doing is actually doing anything. It's so toxic, it's so boring, and it's just no movement here. I cannot grow. I know what that feels like. And I know what it feels like to work a job where you make a good amount of money, but you still kind of don't like it. And I worked jobs like that for 5 to 6 to nearly 7 years, working a job I didn't like for the sake of, when I quit this job, I want to make sure I never have to go back. But you don't got to do that, okay? There is a way to basically quit your job professionally, of course, to walk away, everything is fine, you burnt no bridges, and you don't want to be the guy that says, I don't need no bridges, I know how to swim. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, there's a way to 3 steps. You quit your job, you walk away, and you are financially stable and everything's fine, okay? And you're gonna be in a better spot, a lot happier. So first things first, guys, as always, smash the like button. On top of it, if you're new here, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every single week. But the first thing is, okay, you gotta ask yourself, what is it that you do at this job? Write it down. What don't you like about this job, and why do you want to quit it? And if you do quit it, what would you be doing instead? Now, I ask you to answer these questions because a lot of the times we're just mad at Linda or at Karen or at the boss, and all of a sudden you just want to quit and you want to be done with this job, even though, for example, you kind of like the job, you're just frustrated right now. So it's very important you get down and get very detailed to what exactly is going on here. Now, by the way, you know when you don't like something. Like, I don't gotta tell you when you don't like something, but sometimes you know when you're just having, for example, like just a bad day, you're like, I just wanna quit, I'm done with this whole thing, I don't wanna come back here, okay? So what is it exactly? Why do you wanna quit? And I want you to get very, very specific. So if the answer is, for example, hey, for example, for me, I'll tell you what it is for me, okay? Since I was 11 years old, I wanted to help people, I wanted to do YouTube videos, and I wanted to have control over my own schedule. So any job that I had, for example, where I wasn't doing those things, I just felt, for example, hey, I'm working work study, doing this job, and I don't really like it because it's all paperwork, I'm in an office, I'm back here, not really doing anything, I don't like it. I'm working at the Gap, I'm folding clothes, helping people here and there, but I hate this stuff. I don't care about clothes, and I don't feel good about selling you clothes that I know you can't afford with a credit card. I'm working at this data entry company, I'm here typing stuff up. I don't feel like any of this work actually makes any sense because we can do it with a program and everyone around me is just basically kind of like just like doing it to do it because for the money, and this commute is crazy. You know when you don't like something. But if the answer is, for example, YouTube, by the way, this right here is my dream job. But sometimes I come on here and I'm like, I don't want to do this today, because a job is a job, and there will be days where although you like it, some days, some aspects of it, you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna have a perfect day. So it's very important that you understand what's actually going on and you write it down so you can make, for example, a concise, responsible decision, and you don't just go off based on feelings and say, hey, I hate this, so today I'm gonna walk in my office and I'm like, hey, I quit. And then tomorrow you're like, well, I've calmed down now. I guess I should apologize, okay? So make sure you get concrete here and make sure you know exactly why you want to quit. So if you decided that, Tommy, I actually just don't like this job, I hate it, I'm not happy here, and you want to quit, well, it's time, okay? And here's what you want to do. You want to look at the job market. So in your area, and by the way, it's very important that you ask yourself, do you want to quit your job because the people around you, the environment? Do you want to quit your job because you just hate what you actually do, the actual work itself? Or do you want to quit the job because of the entire industry? So it kind of gets very detailed, because if I tell you, if your skill, which is, for example, you are an accountant, like I am, right? An accountant. And you want to go from this company to the next company, because basically this company might have, for example, a better culture. It might be more intense, whatever. You got to know exactly if it's changing your job that's gonna help you, or if it's, for example, changing careers that's gonna help you. It's very different questions here, because if you hate what you do, no matter where you're doing it, whether it's here or in Paris, you're still not gonna like it, okay? So it's very important, you know, but if it's, for example, the environment, and you basically just wanna get paid a little bit more money, you wanna be in a better environment, and the answer is obviously, you wanna apply for another job, and you wanna look at the job market, and you don't wanna leave that job until you have another job, because some people get so frustrated to the point where they just quit. The answer is, if you worked a job for 6 years or 2 years or 1 year, you can wait a few more weeks or a few more months until you actually get a job lined up, a job offer, and you're basically able to leave. But I want you to get specific when you're applying for another job, because you don't want to make the same mistakes here, okay? So you want to look for something that has these 3 aspects here. Something you like, so this way you're not miserable while you're doing it. Something you're good at, so this way it's not like, I cannot do this, I'm not good. Like, you ever done a job where you're like, I don't know why I'm hired here? When I worked at the Gap, I was like, yo, I can't fold any clothes. Like, why am I here? Okay, and they didn't call me back for temporary work, okay? But obviously, because I was terrible at it. And then lastly, does it make a good amount of money? You know, I have a friend, she loves her job, she likes it, she's good at it, but she makes no money. And I'm like, you know, you make no money because you work this job. And she's like, but I love my job. Yeah, you love your job, but the company isn't paying you, so you can do that job that you love somewhere else and get paid a lot more money. She does social media, and I'm like, yo, you can do that social media stuff, management, for another company, get paid a lot more money, and you still love it, but you don't gotta stay there. And sometimes people have a hard time leaving something where they're not getting paid what they're actually worth. So before you go and you leave that job, make sure you ask yourself, for example, what is the day-to-day job gonna be like in that other place, okay? For the title or for the job that I'm actually applying for. So what does it look like? Do some research on it. Ask people, check LinkedIn, check YouTube, okay? What does this job consist of? On top of that, what is gonna be my career path? So if I go there and I work this job, is there going to be growth involved? Or do you even want growth? You just wanna stick to a job, get paid a certain amount of money, and be there comfortable? Or do you want a job where, hey, I come in here as this, like Starbucks, for example, and all of a sudden I can be the CEO, or I can be the chief exec, whatever it is, okay? Because there's a lot of upward mobility. That's important to ask also. On top of that, do you need qualifications for this job? It makes no sense to want something that you can't get because you're not qualified, but to be mad and upset because you keep getting rejected. The idea is there's a mold, and if you fit that mold, you'll be able to get exactly what you want. So if you know the job that you actually want to get involves you getting, for example, certified or whatever, then what do you need to do? How long is it going to take you? And how do you go about achieving it? That's the idea. And by the way, if you work a job that you don't like, but then there's another job that basically just needs one more qualification, and you're able to stick at that bad job that you don't like for like 6 months or 8 months and get that qualification and then leave, make more money, and you like it, that's fine. It's a sacrifice to get what you actually want. That's cool. Delayed gratification is a cool thing. On top of that, what's the average salary? Where you're gonna go, you know, people say, for example, Tommy, I don't like this job, I hate it because I'm not making enough money. But if your job is flipping burgers and, for example, putting some cheese on some patty, and you're like, I wanna make more than 15 bucks an hour, I wanna make, well, maybe the skill that you have needs to be upgraded for you to make more money. But if the average salary is what you're getting paid, you can't really complain about it because that's what that skill is worth in the marketplace. So it's very important that you base it on, hey, what's the average salary? What do I want to make? And what's that job is going to pay me that much money? That's the idea. And lastly, okay, what is the company culture going to look like? So this job that you want to work at, right? What are these people like? What do they care about? What are their motivations? Okay, are they helping people? Is it more, for example, just sales? I can tell you one thing. One job I would never want to be involved in is like selling jewelry or like cars, because I just wouldn't be feeling good about selling things that I don't believe in or anything like that, okay? So it's very important, whatever you do, something you like, you enjoy, and you answer all these questions at the same time. Now, the last step is, okay, you wanna set a deadline. So once you figure out, I don't like this job, I wanna leave it, I found a job that I want to apply for, or multiple jobs, because by the way, don't just rely on one job, apply for multiple of them. Then you gotta set a deadline, because if you don't set a deadline, then you'll be stuck there. So if you know, hey, I don't want to be here, and I don't want to be here for the next 6 months. So in the next 6 months, I want to get everything in order. I want to line up another job. I want to have some savings on the side. Like for me, I would want to have like at least 3 months of savings worth. But if you can have, for example, at least 1 month plus a job lined up, the idea is that's awesome. And that's basically it. And once you quit that job, you don't quit that job like you're never gonna need anybody else again, because that's not good, okay? The movies, great. Real life, not great, because you never know where you're gonna end up. So whenever I quit a job or I left a job, I never left a job saying, I don't like this, I hate everything, okay? I'm out of here, peace. You know, no, okay? You walk away, you say, hey, I'm gonna give my 2 weeks notice. Here's why I'm leaving. If there's anything I can do to assist in the transition, I can basically make that happen. And by the way, I've been an employee, I've been an employer, I've hired people, I've had people leave, and the best type of person that you want to leave a company is a person, for example, that says, hey, I'm leaving this company, here's why, and if there's anything I can do to basically assist, find my replacement, or teach them anything, you let me know. But I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice, okay? That's a cool person, because if something happens to that person and they want to come back to the company, you kind of welcome them back in. And by the way, it's normal, this is what I've learned and I read so far while doing research for this video, is that it's normal for top performers on average to move from job to job on average every 2 to 3 years. So because they want to have, for example, upward mobility in their career or whatever. For me, I really just like doing what I'm doing, and I'm not gonna go anywhere else, honestly. But for some people, that's fine, and that's what they do. So don't feel or don't think that by you applying for another job and you're doing that like every 2-3 years, like the other person will be like, okay, this person is not like stable. No, because if you're bringing in more and you're bringing in higher quality of skills, that's something they can basically use, and it'll help their company a lot. But guys, that is it overall. I hope this video actually helped you. And the whole idea is, make sure you know why you want to leave. Make sure you have, for example, a job that you actually like and you actually intend to actually do, and you know all the details about it. And then make sure you have everything lined up with a deadline. So you have a deadline, you know what you want, you also have some savings, and you have a job lined up. Do not leave a job without a job. Do not leave a job without savings. It's very stupid, and it's not what you want to do. It makes for a great movie. It does not make for a good life though, okay, in the real life. Thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified, comment down below any questions, and comment down below, quit, so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. Comment down below, quit, so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video, and that way I can answer your questions and everything like that, knowing that you're a real person and not, for example, a robot. Up here is another video, and over here is my face. Subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at Tommy Bryson. As always, long-term team, officially out.